All right, this is big. In the whole scheme of all this global reset upon our world, and it's global. It's for those who think this is all about Trump, and after November, it's gonna be either chaos or everything is gonna quell down. No, this is this pandemic of an excuse for a global reset in a one world. Not even I caught myself. Don't say new world. Say one world, because that's the end game. That's part of the end game. God tells us. It's right in Revelation. It's right in His Word. Not just Revelation, Isaiah, Daniel, Matthew 24, Revelation 13:18, specifically with AI. But with everything going on, everything is hindering on two things: tests for coronavirus and death certificates. And they're both bogus, fraudulent, every which way. And whether the test be PCR, antigen, or antibody. But here is now some evidence, finally. I knew Carrie Mullis, the maker of PCR back in the 70s. The swab test that's being used to give us numbers of, oh, there's a rise in this nation or that nation or this or Florida or wherever young people are, what churches, whatever they want. The tests are not only unreliable, they're unreliable enough. They should not even be factored in. And what do they want to do? Double down on testing people. And so here's somebody finally with some specifics on how the PCR. First off, Carrie Mullis, the maker of it, he was ticked at Fauci for using PCR to tell gay men that, oh, if we test you with this PCR test and you have HIV in your body, that means you're gonna probably get full-blown AIDS syndrome, and you need to take this chemotherapeutic medicine that has been dropped because it's extra toxic, but you're gonna die anyhow. So, take this medicine. That's your Fauci. Aside for this, they're killing us. They're just finding different ways to do it. Absolutely 100%. Deaths in New York City, a lot of them were fomented. You got vent death protocol by the UN, top down. We're not the UN. We're America. But the UN is followed. CDC follows World Health Organization guidelines, which is the UN. And one of them were to put people on the ventilator and put them in the prone position, which allowed for like an 80 to 90% death rate. Governor Cuomo of New York, he wanted as many ventilators as he could get his hands on. Oh, and guess what? With the stimulus, with the trillions in magic money taken from the taxpayers, $39,000 to Medicaid reimbursement per any patient with coronavirus on a ventilator. $39,000. Anyhow, okay, here is some information on the PCR. It is not only, it's a DNA harvest. For all the people lining up and volunteering for the swab test, oh, it's just a swab in your nose. They're collecting your DNA. But worse than that, not only by the actual CDC in the beginning in March were many of the swabs tainted with coronavirus, so it's going deep into your nasal passage. Yeah, you're going to get sick. Not only that, and not only is it a DNA swab harvest for quantum computer, it's also ties in with 5G. I will leave a link at the very end of this, but here is a point about the PCR validity, that life and death matters in closing down estates and quarantining and all these decisions based on test and test results are going on. So, you know what? Real science, truth matters. So, here we go. Just a few minutes here from this one video.
This is Homo sapiens, that's humans, chromosome 8, primary assembly. Chromosome 8 is the sequence. C, T, C, 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 T, 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 G, T, T, G, T, G, T, T, G, T. Very specific. And over here, C, T, G, C, T, C, 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 T, 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 G, T, T, G, T, G, T, T, G, T. It's this. And what they are doing is calling our chromosome 8 primary assembly as the coronavirus. We are the virus.
Well, in other words, what she is saying is everybody could eventually test positive, excuse me, test positive for coronavirus because they're basing the World Health Organization, they're using the PCR test and the reagent, or I don't understand all that, but they're basing it on something that is in all of our DNA. All of us can test positive for this coronavirus. That's it in a nutshell. I'm going to play it for a few more minutes.
DNA, like I've been saying, like I've been teaching, here's the evidence that what they are pulling out of your body and calling a disease is your own DNA. This should really help you, okay, understand the scam at hand here. And if you can't see this, if you go, oh, blah, 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 go away. Go take the vaccine. Leave. Please. Because you're too dumb to exist, really. All right? Go back to the soil. Start over. But for those of us with a thinking brain, this should help you understand the big scamola. Now, let's go over to my other research I've been doing.
Okay, so that's all I'm going to play that. But I will leave a link to this video. And it is bombshell evidence that COVID RNA base pairs are identical to chromosome 8 human DNA by Yum Naturals Emporium. Okay, also, didn't I come across, and I will leave a link, look, the world, this whole scam of genocide, democide, oh, let's release mosquitoes in Florida, Bill Gates, DARPA, and Department of Defense, DOD, joined together team project. Really? Bill Gates, whose dad ran Planned Parenthood, who the founder helped Hitler decide who and how to eugenics kill people, gather together to make a mosquito to release in Florida. DARPA, DOD, and Bill Gates conspiring against we the people. People, how you know the whole thing was a lie, false flag, global lie against the world to begin with, was when this first started globally. Sex offenders were released from prison, the ones who rape and kill children, okay? And our seniors became in lockdown. And a retired officer playing baseball with his daughter back in March or April was arrested. And the Coast Guard went and got surfers out of the water. And the people